Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today we are going to be looking at some of the best polishes inspired by the month of August. I cannot believe it's already time for another installment of my birth month series where basically at the start of each month I go through my collection to pull out some polishes that are inspired by the month's flowers, holidays, and more. So without further ado, let me just show you this month's picks. Let's start with some of my birthstone picks. So for Peridot, I immediately knew that I wanted to use Apocalypse's Radioactive from their Fallout collection earlier this year. It's a bright sort of lime or apple green micro glitter or micro shimmer sort of formula. It's just so full coverage, really beautiful in color, and just has a nice glitzy vibe that, always reminds me of a birthstone. And in a similar vein, I also wanted to use Holo Taco's Acid Drip from their Pop of Holo collection, which I think is the only one that didn't have any holo in it, or maybe there's just like a fine scattering of a holo dusting as opposed to a linear holo, but this is just another super gorgeous, bright lime green color that's so on point with what I was envisioning for the birthstone, which symbolizes things like prosperity due to its green color. So may this August be extra prosperous for us all. Did you know that Peridot is one of the few birthstones that only comes in a single color, although it can come in a range of darker to lighter, more yellowy shades of green? I also wanted to highlight Spinel, which is a more recent but maybe lesser known birthstone for August. It was only added in 2016, which was like, 3 or 4 years ago, right? But this can come in practically every color of the rainbow, but I had to focus on the pink variety. So I thought ILNP's Stacey was a great option, being this deeper hot pink shade. I mentioned in my initial review of that video that I feel like this color and even just the whole Sundays collection gives late summer vibes, which is perfect for August. And honestly, that whole lineup is also perfect for Spinels. And of course, I wanted to include another pick, this time with Crack's Dragon Fruit, which is one of their most recent jelly polishes. It's a gorgeous, deep magenta kind of color in a squishy jelly formula that I think looks so good for this time of year. I just love jellies, especially for summer, and I feel like I've just been wearing them so often, so I just want to continue that as much as I can. I feel like this is such a great option too, because even though it is a jelly and still pretty glassy and see-through, it does have a slightly darker color, which I feel like can help obscure the nail line if you're not the biggest fan of jellies. But if you are, I have another jelly pick. This is Glitch's Palestinian Poppy, which I chose to represent the poppy flower, which is August's birth flower. This one is described as being a bright, warm red crelly. I feel like it does lean a little bit more in that orange category, especially on this first coat here, but even once you do build it up in 2 or 3 coats, it doesn't look as red to me as it does orange, but it's still an incredibly vibrant, fiery kind of shade, which I feel like also can work well for the energy of early August since it's Leo season. Next up I have ILNP's Poppy, which yes could also work for the poppy flower since this is described as a poppy red, but I also wanted to highlight this one for National Watermelon Day on August 3rd. I feel like this is such a beautiful watermelon red shade. It comes in another juicy leaning jelly formula, but this one is packed with those hollow silver flakes, just so bright, so squishy, and so refreshing for a hot day. Speaking of holidays, I came across and discovered National Sneak Some Zucchini into Your Neighbor's Porch Day, which is on August 8th, so make sure you jot that down. I absolutely lost it when I saw that on the calendar. I was like, who thought of this? what was the reason? So naturally, I had to bring some awareness to this holiday. So I thought Crack's Honeydew, which is another recent jelly of theirs, was a pretty good match, even though it is obviously described after the honeydew fruit and inspired by that. It has that specific yellowy green kind of color that I feel like works for zucchinis. Next, I have another cracked shade. This is Leather Bound, which I chose to represent National Book Lovers Day on August 9th. Honestly, just special shout out to that whole page turner collection, obviously inspired by cozying up with your favorite book, which of course you can do any time of year, but I feel like it's always extra cozy once the weather starts to get a little cooler. It might be raining outside, and to me that always is around the fall season, which I know isn't until like late September, but I feel like we always start to see a little bit of fall in the nail polish world as early as August, so this is me peppering that in. Back to the summer vibes though, on August 11th, it's National Play in the Sand Day, and I of course had to use Holo Taco's Beach Please from their vacation collection, I think it was called, a couple of summers ago, and sadly they decided to discontinue this one. Such a shame, because it is truly the most perfect glittery sandy color on your nails. I can understand that maybe, the undertone isn't going to be the most flattering for everybody, but pairing this with a couple of blues is an instant beach on your nails. Like, what's not to love? Okay, I know this is technically another fall kind of color. This is Crack's I Am What I Am, which I chose to represent National Potato Day on August 19th. I love potatoes so much. They are truly one of the best foods ever, and I had a hard time finding a potato polish, so I figured I should go the sweet potato route with this beautiful burnt orange from Cracked. It is one of my favorite shades, which maybe is surprising. I feel like I could see people say that this is like a prugly kind of color. It almost has this sweet caramel vibe to it though, so I just really love it. Also on August 19th is National Soft Ice Cream Day. It didn't say soft serve, just soft. So I interpreted it as soft serve. And whenever I think of soft serve in summer, it's always melting and such a mess, but it's still cute. So we're going to be doing some nail art for this look just because I feel like it's pretty easy to do. This is a design I love doing every summer. It's just so cute, so fun. I start with a plain white polish for my vanilla base and go in with a dotting tool to create these drips along the tip of my nail. You could also use a small detail brush to clean up and round out the edges as needed. Then once that's dry, I go in with a super tiny detail brush and dip it into a rainbow assortment of colors to create the little sprinkles. It can be a little bit of a tedious process, especially if you are going to be doing this on all of your nails, but it is just so fun for the end result. Like, I just love this so much. And the last holiday I have for August is on the 28th, so right towards the end of the month, and we celebrate National Wine Day. I'm not really a wine drinker. It always gives me headaches, but I still love a wine red. It's just so sultry, so beautiful. And again, for the end of August, with September right around the corner, I feel like it's the perfect time to introduce these more vampy fall kind of reds. Naturally, the first shade that I have is ILNP's Merlot from the Vineyard collection, a gorgeous wine red with some hollow sparkle in there. But for a plain wine red jelly, I have Cirque's Wine Jelly, which is a little bit deeper in color, a little bit less of a true red. You kind of get more of that berry wine color underneath, maybe like a burgundy undertone. And it is just so gorgeous, so alluring. A glass of red wine always looks so classy to me, but I just can't drink it. The taste is not for me. But thankfully, I love it as a nail color. Even though, again, I don't wear reds super often, I feel like I do always gravitate more towards these really deep, vampy kind of reds. And that wraps up my best polishes inspired by the month of August. As always, I would love to know what you think of this month's lineup, especially if you're born in August. Happy birthday to all the August babies out there. I actually really did love this lineup and love how vibrant and bold the colors are. There's obviously like a nice mix between these bold late summer shades and also some darker, like leading into fall colors, which I feel like, you know, is perfect for this time of year. But personally, I'm definitely going to be gravitating more towards the summer shades because for me, fall starts in September, and it's just crazy to think the next time we do this video, it's gonna be September. I am just not ready. So yeah, I'm gonna do my best to finish up wearing some of these really bold summer shades. But let me know what you plan on wearing this month, or just any thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.